Let's take a look and see how easy it is to enable auto-scaling in single store. So I've got a workspace deployed with the database attached, and this workspace is powering my SaaS application. I've got an application that monitors package delivery status in real time, and users can log into the SaaS application and they can see when their package is going to arrive at their door. This application uses live feeds for weather and traffic and other information in order to more accurately predict package deliveries. So this is great. I'm running on single store, but previously I had to size single store for my maximum workload. And the problem with my application is I don't always know when users are going to log in. Let's say there's a new sneaker release, or perhaps Apple releases a new iPhone. There could be a large demand on my application, but I don't always know when that's going to happen ahead of time. And I don't want to just size up and pay for more compute than I'm going to use. So with auto-scaling, I can set a base size, I can enable auto-scaling, and single store will automatically scale my application up and down in order to make sure that I've got the optimum mix of compute and memory available. Let's take a look. So first, I'm going to go to Workspace Settings, and I'm going to enable auto-scaling. So I'll turn this on and confirm, and then I can set the maximum number of resources that I'm going to provision when I auto-scale. I'm going to set that to 2x, and I'm going to save that configuration. Great. Now auto-scaling is enabled for my workspace. I'm going to take a look at the compute and memory resources. It looks like I'm using just a portion of the compute. And so in order to simulate the customer demand on my application, I've set up a notebook. So I'm going to run that quickly. And what this will do is this will simulate a large number of users coming in and logging into my application. So that could be, perhaps there's a new product that's just released. A bunch of users have ordered it, and they're using my SaaS application to track their shipments. Great. That's running now. Let's take a look at our monitoring. If we go to monitoring and we open our utilization monitoring, we can take a look and we can see the overall number of resources that are being used in my workspace. So right now, that's running fairly lean. Let's wait for that user demand to kind of spike up the compute utilization on my workspace. Great, we can see now that CPU usage has spiked up with all those users that are logging in to track their packages. And so what's going to happen is auto-scaling will monitor this and it'll trigger a scale-up operation. Let's go to the portal to take a look. So now we're going to go and we're going to take a look at the workspace activity. We can see here that we have an activity for when I created the workspace. And when auto-scaling monitors that the CPU or memory has spiked, it's going to go ahead and trigger an auto-scale operation, and we'll see that here. It looks like the auto-scale is completed, and I've now got additional compute and memory resources available to my application. Let's go back to our deployments. If we go to our workspace, we can now see that it's scaled up to 2x scale factor. Let's look at our monitoring. So in our monitoring, we can see that we scaled up the compute and memory resources. And if we zoom into our read queries per second, I can take a look and I can see that I'm doubling the amount of queries per second that I'm able to run against my single store deployment. So I'm immediately getting more resources for my application based on the increased load from my users. Let's go back to the portal. So this is great. This will continue to run as long as my workload is at a higher demand for single store. Let's go back to my notebook and let's stop our additional users. So let's imagine that the demand for the additional compute has slowed, and we'll see that on the workspace. If we go to our deployments and we look at our workspace, we can see that my compute demand has dropped back down. I no longer have a peak in my application. And if we go back to our monitoring, we can see now in monitoring that the CPU utilization is dropping back down. We no longer have a spiked demand on our workspace, and auto-scaling is going to go ahead and scale our workspace back down to the base size. Let's go to portal to take a look. If we go back to activity, we'll be able to see in here when auto-scaling triggers that scale down. Great, I can see that auto-scaling is now scaling my compute back down to the base size. And it looks like the job is completed. Let's take a look at the workspace. And we can see that it's now scaled back to the base size. So not only is autoscaling easy to turn on and easy to use, it's incredibly powerful. A lot of other solutions scale up reads, but don't scale up writes. Our autoscaling with single store scales up both. So developers building SaaS applications or other intelligent applications can ensure that they get the best possible TCO when building on single store.